But yeah, like even if you want to throw, let's see. Oh, we're live, y'all. So y'all, this is Periscope. Hey, anyways, what's up? What's up? Yeah, this is a really good crowd. You're fine.
What's the thing? Your Periscope.
Oh, Jello Cello K. So JELLO.
My sister's a big time Periscoper.
Really? Yes, JELLOSELOK. But yes, so because even if you want to throw that question in, you as a facilitator, you can go ahead and do that. Is this what you want to do?
Okay, so wait, I'm gonna go over my introduction. I want to make sure like everybody's introduction is correct. Y'all ready? Mr. Brian D. Turman was born in Statesville, North Carolina, and is a double honors graduate of North Carolina A&T State University with a BA in English and an MA in English and African American Literature. He is currently teaching 2 hip-hop related courses in the English department, which he designed. Mr. Turman has written for several hip-hop publications, including AllHipHop.com and Scratch Magazine, and currently under contract with ABC CLIO to publish his first book. Turman serves as the coach of the North Carolina A&T Honda Campus All-Stars Challenge team and the advisor of the Black History Club. He is dedicated and determined to ensure that African American trials and tribulations, productivity, and creativity are included within the ivory towers of academia.
That's fine with me. What's the thing, sir?
JELLO, and it's all one word. SELOK. K. That's it. Jello Cello K.
Dr. Sifu is a native
Are y'all
of
excited?
Togo, West Africa.
I'm going to be
and has
recording
lived
the whole
in
time, so it's going to be crazy.
2000.
Hopefully my phone doesn't die, but
the English department
invite
in 2005
your followers.
He is currently the Student Success Coordinator and Chair of the Humanities Committee. You better go, Dr. Sifu. Dr. Sifu received his bachelor's and master's at the University of...
Double check on some stuff.
You know what to say before you do that.
What's up, y'all? Yeah. What's up, you guys? Are y'all good? I'm all in y'all bag. Forgive me for being so rude. What's up? All right, let's do it. Huh? You can
In this house.
no. Can you grab my bag? Scoot in a little bit. Can you grab these 2 bags right here, and can you take them? Can you take them to the guy who's in the pink right there? You see him? Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Respect. Respect. But yeah, just take that over there, please. All right, y'all. Oh, did y'all want to see how packed the place is at? This place is packed. We about to really do this panel discussion. What's up, you guys? Y'all here for the panel discussion, right?
Yes.
All right, yeah. We'll be right in there. You guys enjoy it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm not.
He is a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated and a first-generation college student and speaks 3 languages.
Yes.
Kiana Morrow is a junior mass communication student. She is a junior journalism mass communication student. She was born in Salisbury, North Carolina, and raised in Greensboro, North Carolina. She found her love for community back in 2007 when she went back home and saw her...
It's East Spencer. It's like an E, like...
And saw her East Spencer community mostly boarded up. She has been quite active since then, joining organizations like Greensboro.
What's up, Monique?
Then joining organizations like Greensboro Youth Council.
That's what I was looking at.
I need a pen, so I got a pen.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Who has a pen? And we are so rude. We didn't even bring no water bottles. Yeah.
Professor, do you have a pen?
It's not us. It's not us. Yeah, I know. He remember that. But yeah, whose bio are you on now?
Housing and Urban Development.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Monique? Monique done came through.
Yeah, I stayed down across the street from Reed, Hall Street.
Whose bio are you on now, Ashley?
I'm done.
Okay. All right, so you guys ready to move? You guys ready? Oof. At the end of the day, we still love each other.
Provocative, do I? Provocative.
Okay.
You ready, Dr. Sifu?
Yeah, I am ready. This is
Yeah.
I'm not just...
Yeah, actually, you can walk on this. You can walk on this. Here we go. What's up?
Yes, sorry.
It's time to go in. I am. People actually Periscope. We got our panelists in. After you. Periscope.
I'll take the long walk.
I was gonna say one right here. Can we test out these mics? Turn them on. Make sure they're up. Turn on that one. Yeah, because this is the one. No, this is the one for her. Tap that one. Check.
Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? I am Ashley Labar, and I currently serve as Miss African Actors Coalition for this school year. Tonight we'll be discussing the topic, why do Africans hate Black people? I would like to introduce our panel. We have Mr. Brian Terman. He was born in Statesville, North Carolina, and is a double honors graduate of North Carolina A&T State University with a bachelor's in English and a master's in English and African American literature. He is currently teaching 2 hip-hop related courses in the English department, which he designed. Mr. Terman has written for several hip-hop publications, including allhiphop.com and Scratch Magazine, and currently under contract with ABC CLIO to publish his first book. Terman serves as the coach of the North Carolina A&T Holland Campus All-Stars Challenge Team and the advisor of the Black History Club. He is dedicated and determined to ensure that African American trials and tribulations, productivity and creativity
we're gonna be fighting. Okay, hearts for Dr. Terman.
Please give it up for Mr. Brian Terman. Dr. Sifu is a native of Togo, West Africa, and has lived in Greensboro since 2000. Dr. Sifu joined the English department in 2005 as a lecturer. He is currently the Success Coordinator and Chair of the Humanities Committee. Dr. Sifu received his bachelor's and master's at the University of Lomé, Togo, and his PhD at USCG. He specializes in post-colonial literature and theory. Dr. Sifu.
Is that zoom in okay?
Is a senior supply chain management student from the Democratic Republic of Congo. He will be working for IBM in Nairobi, Kenya upon graduation. He is a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated and a first-generation college student and speaks 3 languages. Give it up for Mr.
Okay, Dan.
Last but not least, we have Kiana Morrow. She is a junior journalism mass communication student. Hello. She was born in Salisbury, North Carolina, but raised in Greensboro. She found her love for her community back in 2007 when she went back home and saw her East Spencer community mostly boarded up. She has been quite active since then, joining organizations like Greensboro Youth Council and the Common Cause and Ignite North Carolina. Okay, give it up for Kiana Morrow. If you guys have any questions or want to address the panel, you raise your hand. I'll call on you, and then you come to the mic and you're able to speak. You guys are open to asking questions you guys want to ask to me, to the board, to the panelists. It's a very good forum that we're about to have. We're not trying to offend anybody. We're just trying to answer the honest questions that you guys have. So I hope you guys enjoy the program. So the first question that we have, and we got this from I think Instagram. Some people send in their questions. The first question is, of course, why do Africans hate Black people? Does anybody from the audience want to answer that, or does anybody on the panel want to answer that?
Gotta go to the panelists first.
Not all at once.
Good evening, audience. Again, we are here, and I think we are very happy to be here. This is a very, very important topic, as you can see, and I really am happy for this attendance, which is very large. But can we really talk about hate in terms of the relationship that we entertain between we have between Africans and African Americans? If there is one, I will say, I will add this, there is also love. So we will say hate, love, hate, not just hate. Because as you know, Africans and African Americans have a very deep, complex relationship. And it is even biological and social. So to make it so simple and say we hate or we don't, it's going to be a little bit like dishonesty. Because the history is there that we can go back to. The history of everything that has started. We go back to slavery. We are related there. Whatever happened, everybody knows that very dark history. And so we do know that wherever you see
okay? Can y'all see okay?
A black race, you have to be sure that it is from one single continent. Nobody can deny that. And that is Africa. Wherever you see a black person on this universe, it is going to be back there. So it is like there's no way around it. So we are brothers for life and we are sisters for life. Period. So why do we talk about hate?
Does anyone in the audience feel that they run across maybe an African person they felt hated black people or felt superior to black people? Anybody?
And may I say something? Thank you guys, first of all, for taking the time to come out to this program today. Please don't see this program as us trying to avoid a message as, oh yeah, blacks hate blacks. No, we're not trying to say that. What we're trying to find out is, what's the problem? Because we noticed this. I came here when I was 7 years old. Walking.
We actually just did 8:15. Started at 8:15.
White kids. So, of course, being I'm black, I gravitate towards the black kids. When we go outside in recess, I try to hang out with them. But
yes,
I see they want to be distance from me. They whenever I go around and they don't like me, they kind of throw jokes. And as a 7-year-old, my family's new to the States. We're not in the best financial conditions.
That is crazy.
So they picked on me every aspect of my life at the time. And as a 7-year-old kid, you don't know why these kids are picking on you. You think, oh yeah, you come from Africa, you think all black people are close, then you come here, you realize that no, you're not black, you're African American. You're black, you're African. So I think the biggest thing right now is what I've learned over the years, and my good friend Imani knows of this, is just education. It all starts off in the household. It all starts off in the African household and the American household. We have to teach our children and ourselves. African parents are the worst with this because they encourage it. They encourage some of the stigmas that we as Africans are better than African Americans because we know our roots and so forth. No. On the African end, we have to educate ourselves. No, we come from the same background. And then for the African American household standpoint, we have to educate our kids and say, no, we're equal. Don't look at the mess that they show you on TV. So that's just my 2 cents. And as I've grown up, because I did, honestly, when I grew up, I didn't honestly start having African American friends until about 7th, 8th grade when I started playing sports. Do sports and, just I gaining more friends. Oh, okay, these guys really aren't that bad.
I agree with Ben. Growing up African, or growing up with, especially my last name, it was hard for me to make friends at first because now I won't say now it's a trend to be African, but now it's more socially accepted to be African. You hear guys say they want an East African girl, they want a girl with like an African girl shape and stuff like that. And that's not how it used to be. Like I used to get picked on all the time because of my last name. People used to purposely mess up. It's not that hard to say, but it's really not that hard. But purposely mess up my name, pick on me, not be my friend. And so as you get older and it became more socially acceptable to wear our clothing and, you know, accept our culture, sometimes with African people we get a little and we're a little hesitant about it because we don't know if you're genuinely like interested in like being our friend or are you just going along with the trend because we've been picked on, called African booty scratches everything. You know, we don't wash the whole 9 yards. I know I smell good, but like you know, like talking all the time. So I can definitely agree with you on that one.
Peace. Hey, I appreciate you all coming out. It's a beautiful thing to see you all here, particularly with the topic. I think it comes down to what the brother was saying is ignorance. And that goes on both ends, unfortunately. As somebody who's traveled abroad, I've encountered, like, I was in Ghana one time, and this African dude had on a suit. And this African dude was like, oh my God, I never seen a dreadlock man with a suit. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, like, where the hell you been? This was like 2008. And I think it was just ignorance. It's just, and the same thing, I also think that, you know, part of this culture, growing up where I grew up and poor as I was growing up, we picked with each other a lot. And I could see how a 7-year-old kid couldn't understand that this was, because they're doing the same thing to each other. Like, the African Americans in here, look, I say black, so, and I mean everybody black, but for the purposes of this panel, for the African Americans in here, part of our culture is that we poke fun and play dozens and say things about each other like we got mama jokes, but everybody love their mama. So I think that part of what you were probably experiencing as a 7-year-old stemmed from that, also stemmed from ignorance. As Musa said, if we talk about the hate side, we talk about the love side as well. And I think that that's perhaps the tie that bonds us. And, you know, that's what binds us together. It's a real deep-seated love, and I can tell you from somebody that's been to the continent, you feel the love. I mean, from total strangers, and I think that that's something that if we can just use that as our common denominator, that we'll probably be a lot better off in the future, and future kids, future generations won't have a similar problem.
And you just saw, you kind of dived into one of the problems right there, that name, that African American and African thing. I think the name alone just kind of brings along division and segregation. So when you're filling out a test, and it's bad because they're doing it to little kids. When you're 8 years old, you're taking a test, you fill out, because I'm African. So when I'm looking for African on there, you see Asian, you see Hispanic, you know, you have to fill in African American, and you know that's not true. It messes with your brain a little bit. So I think it's just that African American name alone just brings along a lot of segregation, a lot of problems within itself. You know, because you had to kind of modify it to the program level. Well, I call everybody black. That's how I think, but everybody doesn't think like that.
You have a question?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Mitchell.
Hey, Mitchell.
How you doing? It goes back to the thing we was talking about. Everyone wants to East African girls, stuff like that. Do you feel like the recent trend of wearing dashikis is like kind of just like it's not like some people wear dashikis, they don't know the meaning behind it. Do you feel like that new trend popping up is not giving the proper appreciation to the meaning? Like it's kind of like, oh, it's a fashion trend, but we don't know what the meaning means. Do you kind of feel like that also is a type of disrespect for the African American society, African American?
How do you feel about that?
I would say the negativity that I have seen with people wearing dashikis were majority from Africans. I don't really see it as a trend. I see black people really trying to find themselves in their blackness, because now it's coming to a point where we want to be with our roots, but we have no way of finding that. So when we find ourselves kind of drifting towards African type of heritage, we feel like one. So when we get that backlash of, you don't know what that means, why don't you tell me what it means? Like, why don't you tell me where this is from? But sometimes they don't take the chance or the time to kind of like, you know, well, this is what this is what this means. Instead it's like, don't wear that, you don't know what that means. So I always see it as something as where we're trying to find ourselves, and when we find ourselves, that's where we feel comfortable at, and when we feel that acceptance, we start branching out more and accepting and love. Sometimes we don't.
There's a button that's just where he's standing. There's just look for it, and then there's a there.
Oh yeah, one more thing. You said I like it. You know, I like it that African Americans quote unquote wear that sheet, this stuff like that. First of all, it's great marketing to our continent, and you know, you have to look at it from a business standpoint. And it's just, you know, it feels good. You know, my mom even noticed. She said, you know, she's been here for about a year now, and she said, well, I came here back in the '90s, and I'm here, you know, about 15 years later. Well, what's going on with this new trend? She said, I like it. You know, it shows how much we've developed, and it shows on TV and music and so forth like that. It shows how much the perception, and we still have a long way to go on the continent of Africa to change.
I think there's a question, just on this issue of growth in here. I would say that even today, the haircuts that you see everywhere, most of them originated in Africa. Everybody knows that. So while you love that and you don't say anything about that, so I think I am even very proud whenever I see people wearing this, because now there's some kind of validation, trying to say that this is cool, you can wear it, it is good, move on. So I think you should do that. Wear it, it is yours. It is your ancestors, stuff. So wear it. You don't have to ask for anybody's permission. Just wear it.
You ain't clap for this man.
Hello, everyone. This question is just sort of for everyone, but it was sort of because I'm in Dr. Asifu's theory class, and we kind of touched on the subject of colonialization. And I was just wondering because, as, some African cultures in Africa have been colonialized, and, us being African Americans and being not only colonized, but removed from our roots and brought over here, and like kind of how Kiana touched on earlier with people starting to begin to okay, I want to find myself, I want to find and get connected to my roots and where I came from. How do you think we can begin that process and have it be more smoother versus people just sort of kind of going out there and trying to do it, and then having people, from the outside looking in kind of being disapproving of that? So I just wondered what your take would be on how we would make that transition smoother.
I'm against that. You could pay me some money and I could guess, you could be from Congo. I hate that. I hate when people say, yeah, I did that. I'm like, they don't know that. They don't know where you're from. There's no way they can really track that stuff like that. So, I think, right now it's impossible to track, where your great aunt came from. I think now we're at the point where we just have to be culturally aware. I encourage everybody to visit the continent of Africa. Me and my line brothers, for our 5th year anniversary, we're trying to visit the continent of Africa. While I'm working in Nairobi, they all want to come out and visit me as well. And I highly encourage that. Just get out there, learn the culture. Make sure you have, at least within your circle, you have a friend that's from Africa. Go to their house, have dinner with them. Get to know their family. I feel as if that's the best way to become culturally aware of the continent of Africa, or just your African side. And please stay off Ancestry.com.
I would say, I know this happened in my family with my elders. We have it comes mostly from my elders. We can't keep distancing ourselves from Africans, because I know my great-mom and my great-grandma do not like working with Africans or don't like being around Africans. I always tell her to make it every time she says like that, because it's and I have to tell her, well, Grandma, you from Africa? Where do you think you come from? And then she's like, well, every time I'm around them, they make me feel like I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm not working hard enough. And I'm like, okay, well, Grandma, how about you talk to them, on your lunch break, or figure out why you have this negative, this negative vibe from them. So I would say, I know that Black people do it, because I've been around Black people that does it. We can't keep being like, oh, look at them right there, what they talking about? Look what they wearing, because usually they might dress different than us, they might dress better than us, but we always have this whole thing like, and then you start talking, we already have our mind made up before we even speak to them. We're like, they're Africans, what are they going to talk about now? It's always negative, so we have to remain positive and try to like give them a chance, and we also have to work on ourselves coming from.
What's up, y'all? So we here at North Carolina A&T. This is at the panel discussion. Why do Africans hate black people, or is it black people hate Africans? So we have panels up, and students are asking questions. And keep inviting your followers. Flood it up with hearts and all that good stuff. All right? All right.
I'll dive into that one. I think it's once again the same reason that Africans, if they do have a problem with us, have a problem with us, and it's just ignorance. It's, and the brother touched on it as well, colonialization. I think that one of the unfortunate things that slavery did to those of us that are born on this continent was that it taught us to disrespect ourselves. And we oftentimes look at Africans as the deep part of ourselves that we don't like. And if you've read Roots, or if you'll read slave narratives, you'll find that slaves, as they were being acculturized by white Americans, that it was a difficult thing. One of the most famous scenes in the miniseries Roots, also in the book, is when Kuna Kinte is beaten for not calling himself Toby. And if you just let that settle in on you for a second, like, what if I changed everybody's name in here right now, and then beat you for not calling yourself the name that I gave you? Like, that's a deep-seated, you really got to hate yourself to get down with that. And I think that black Americans spent so much time hating our African selves because we blamed our African self for slavery. It's like one of the most interesting things about slavery. If you read like the psychosis of slavery, sister just wrote a book where she said that black folks suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. That we, for 400 years, we've been put under the kind of stress and identity theft that has caused us to internalize a lot of our own hate. And I think that when we encounter Africans, that all comes bubbling up, unfortunately. Particularly those of us who haven't gone to the continent, who've not spent time talking to Africans and being intimate with them in one way or the other. It's a really interesting psychosis. I don't think that's just another word for it. To hate what you see in somebody else because they look so much like what you envision yourself as. Like, white folk called us all niggas for a reason. And how that played out in terms of what we thought about ourselves, I think manifests itself when we see folk from the continent. And it's a very deep-rooted, unfortunate psychological problem as far as I'm concerned. I think what's happening with, the dashiki wearing and this whole interest in the continent by black Americans is perhaps the only thing that'll battle that. It is knowledge. The Egyptians on their tombs wrote, "Know thyself." And I think that as black